Spokane School Board has finally made a decision on a downtown stadium, what steps they need to go through next to make a final decision.
Plus, in a story you'll only see on KREM 2 tonight, we're learning more details in the alleged dark web kidnapping plot by a Spokane doctor. Tonight, there is much more to this bizarre case.
We saw a few showers and thunderstorms earlier this afternoon, but now we're tracking the bigger rain chances set to hit the area this weekend.
Plus, Washington health officials are warning of a fourth wave of coronavirus cases across the state, and it's putting a lot of counties in jeopardy of moving back to phase where Spokane County lies tonight.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 11. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Hi everyone, I'm Regina Ahn.
The Spokane School Board has finally made a decision on a downtown stadium, sort of. The proposal has received a lot of support from business leaders to school principals to politicians, including Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rogers.
But it's also received some criticism about parking, about the effects of the Spokane Civic Theater, and about the fact that voters have said they'd prefer a northwest location.
So the board aimed to find a sort of middle ground. They passed a motion last night instructing district staff to negotiate a plan that addresses a long list of concerns. Our Casey Decker explains tonight.
With a 4-1 vote, the board last night approved a motion. That motion gives district staff the green light to enter negotiations with a variety of stakeholders. They need to come up with a plan that meets a litany of parameters, addressing the various concerns that have been raised about the downtown stadium proposal. So, although on first glance it appears the board now favors the project, President Jarrell Haynes says that's not exactly the case.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say that this motion passing last night provides a pathway should all parties that were included in the motion be able to come together and address the major concerns that our public has expressed.
Those requirements include things like total district ownership of the stadium, priority parking for the district and for the Spokane Civic Theater, the district getting a cut from any events held at the stadium, guarantees about equity, and a guarantee that this plan will save the district money. It's a lot, but that's what Haynes says is needed to go against that 2018 advisory vote.
We need to gain such an amount of benefit that it would be irresponsible for us as leaders to ignore that in order to be able to move forward, because we do respect our voters.
So can these requirements actually be met? It'll be a challenge, but the stakeholders we spoke with are optimistic. That includes the United Soccer League, which has pledged to come to Spokane if the stadium goes downtown.
I think the very specific details will be worked out, but I don't think that there's anything currently that is the type of deterrent from not seeing this thing come to fruition.
And the Spokane Civic Theater, whose members have been some of the most vocal detractors of the proposal.
We recognize that there will be growth around us, and we are just very grateful that we are being brought to the table in this conversation.
These negotiations will have a tight deadline. The board wants to make a final call by May 5th. And in that meeting, there are still no guarantees about what'll happen.
If every single parameter was met, that's significant, right? I think that would provide for a very fruitful conversation and discussion on May 5th from the board. I think it's a lot less fruitful and productive conversation if the parameters aren't met.
Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
And new tonight, mayors, county executives, and even the governor have to give their approval before police can use tear gas to end riots.
That's under a new compromise reached in the Washington legislature today. A committee of the House and Senate met today to reconcile versions of police tactics of a bill already approved by each chamber. The Senate's version would have banned the use of tear gas at riots, and the House's version would have allowed the use of tear gas with certain restrictions. The compromise allows it to be used at riots, but only with prior approval from the highest elected official in the jurisdiction.
By a party line vote, the Idaho Senate has approved a bill that would allow the state to hire private contractors to kill up to 90% of Idaho's wolf population. Right now, an estimated 1,500 wolves live in Idaho, and supporters of the bill introduced earlier this week say too many wolves are attacking other wildlife, as well as livestock like cattle and sheep. The Humane Society, though, is among the opponents, and they say there's no scientific or ethical justification for this proposal. The organization is calling for Governor Little to veto the bill, which is still subject to a vote in the House.
A new version of Idaho's fetal heartbeat abortion ban has advanced in the Senate. The legislation makes providing an abortion after a heartbeat can be detected punishable by up to 5 years in prison. It would also allow the woman who receives the abortion to sue the provider. The bill does have exceptions for rape, incest, and a medical emergency. The bill now heads to Governor Little's desk for his signature.
All right, switching gears now to a check on weather. Definitely cloudy and rainy today, but we started off kind of nice,
Yeah,
right?
it started pretty beautiful,
Yeah,
right?
it did.
And then came in the clouds
Yeah,
and the
there you
rain.
go.
Meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us from the Outdoor Weather Center tonight. And Thomas, it sounds like we might get a dry day tomorrow before the rain moves in again.
Yeah, a lot more rain for this upcoming weekend, especially for Saturday, because if you thought today was rainy, well, I mean, I admit it's probably the most rain that we've seen in the last 2 months, but it's still only rained for about 10 minutes today. We got a lot more rain for this upcoming Saturday. The system that brought it through was a cold front, pretty much cleared the area. It's kind of just past Lewiston right now. Just maybe a few leftover showers around North Idaho. And as you look at the 12-hour loop, it's this line of showers and a couple thunderstorms. Some of you, especially near the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene areas, reported that you heard a little bit of thunder, saw a little bit of lightning earlier today. That's long gone. Tomorrow we're in for a dry day. Plenty sunny to start out the day. Look for a few more clouds later on in the afternoon. High still well into the low 60s. But this weekend, we'll have to be planning around the rain, and more than just 10 minutes of rain. That's for sure. We got some rain for sure on Saturday and some scattered showers on Sunday. 2 of what is actually quite a few rain chances still moving forward here. So breaking down just how widespread or scattered or how chance to likely, we are going to see our day-to-day rain chances all in just a few moments.
Thomas will talk to you then. Tonight, the CDC is investigating after an Oregon woman died from a rare blood clot 2 weeks after receiving the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
So it's not confirmed that she died because of the shot, but there are similarities to the other known cases. She is in her 50s and died from the same type of blood clot found in 6 other women in the U.S.
This is still extremely rare, so even the case count that we're aware of so far is only about 7 cases in a total of 7.5 million vaccinated across the country. Additionally, we do have to note that not all of the cases did result in deaths. This is, as to our recognition, the second death reported so far since the investigation began.
So the CDC is meeting tomorrow to discuss if the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is safe to use once again.
Well, we are continuing to track the story about a Spokane doctor who used a dark web to put a hit out on his estranged wife. Coming up next, new information uncovered that you'll only hear right here on KREM 2 News.
Plus, later we are learning more information about a teen who was shot and killed in Spokane Valley earlier this month. What police are saying led up to his death. Coming up after the